So the construction of the mezzanine, the floor that we're going to put in now, is relatively easy or short compared to all the work that we went through with the windows and the spandrels that we just constructed. So let's get started. One of the ways we can do that is actually to make it a little easier, is we're going to make a crop box, or actually I call it a section box. Let me get onto the right layer here. And when I highlight a section box, I can actually select that. That box will show up. And if you notice right here, there's some arrows. This is the arrows for the back side of the box, front side, and this is the arrows for the top side. And I'm just going to pull that section box down until it starts to cut through that floor deck and get rid of all of the things that are up above it. And that's just going to make it easier for us to visualize our floor slab when we put it in, just to make it a little just visually easier for us. So let's go to the site level and start drawing a floor. So we get a nice visualization of everything, and actually I can see an error here, and I could actually correct it right away. You'll notice we see this spandrel that I put in place, or this element right here, a little bit out of alignment. I can actually just move that up until it's square again, and I've got that corrected. All right, so always, just be aware of these little issues when you see them. I see another error that I've done over here. Let me just, actually, if I hit tab, that'll probably select the whole thing eventually. Nope, I'm going to want to select this window. I'm hitting tab until I grab the whole thing. We'll pull that over until it's centered. And now everything starts to line up clean. So once again, that could probably happen with you also. I would expect it to. And so no worries. You can always make those corrections on the fly. That's the nice thing about the BIM modeling. There's always places to able to do your correction. So we're going to make a floor on the mezzanine level. So I'm going to select floor, architectural. We're going to select that floor, which is a 3-inch concrete on a 2-inch metal deck. We're going to want to put that on the mezzanine level. And remember, when we put the steel in place, those cross pieces, we held them back 5 inches to accommodate this sitting on that floor deck. We have a tool now that'll help us to find that floor. It's a pick wall tool. And actually, if I just come along here, I can actually pick walls that I want that floor to run to. So I'll select that one. I'll come over here and select this one. And you notice that's a little bit inside of the glazing window. We're going to come all the way out to the front here. So I'm going to actually, I'm going to pick the face edge of this. And then I'm going to actually draw some lines. So these are all these pink now are going to be outlines for our future floor system. I'm going to actually draw a line along here at the front of this beam. That's as far as the mezzanine is going to extend in. I have the chain command on. I'm going to just turn that off and reselect this again. I'm going to draw on the front edge of that beam again. And we need another surface over on this side, and I'm going to use the Pick Walls tool, this little icon here, and connect that. Now, I've got all of the things that define the perimeter, but they're not all completely connected to each other. And if I was to click complete, I'd get all of these orange arrows telling me places where things aren't connected. And so I'm going to go continue. I'm going to actually correct those problems. And I'm going to do that using the join tool. I'm going to grab this one and join it, this one and that face one and join it. It made a little error. It thought I was going in one direction, I'm going in the other. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drag it, zoom way in here, and I'm just going to drag it in the other direction. Now I have, once again, grab the join tool, grab this one and this one. Now these are edges which are coming right to that face of that beams that we made. And this one connected to that one. And I'll just double check that this one's connected, and it is because it didn't highlight. And before I click complete, in order to make that floor, I want to make sure that I'm at the mezzanine level and I have the proper floor system selected. And I'll click complete. And I'm going to get some window boxes that come up, some warnings or some queries, should I say. Do you want to touch the floors to attach to the walls and things like that? And in this case, we're just sketching out this floor. We don't exactly know where we're going to terminate these. We'll come back and edit this later on, maybe if we wanted to, as we get to more detailed drawings. So I'm not going to attach anything. I'm going to make sure we don't attach. And anywhere they're overlapped, I don't want to join the geometry. All right, so I'm going to say no to that also. And you'll notice now that that's highlighted. I've completed that box. And so this is all of our mezzanine level of our building. And we'll go to our model view again, and we'll be able to see that. It's blue, and if I click off of it, we can now see our floor system. So we now completed our floor assembly. We can actually look in here, and we can see the edges of our floor, how nicely they're coming to the edges of that beam. They're going underneath the walls nicely. One of the things that's showing up is this little line here, and that's the spandrel is coming up through the floor system. If we were going to working drawings, I would pull that down so it was below the level of the floor, but that's really not necessary at this level of detailing. I do see that we might want it, we are not quite completely up to the edge of the spandrel here. There's a little gap that we'd want to maybe pull this. If I was to double click on this, I could actually go back and edit it, and I could literally pull it out until it touched that edge of the spandrel. Click complete, and then once again have to answer those commands. And now that's close to that edge. Watch, I can click on this one again. I can click on this element, and I can pull this out until it touches that front edge, and click complete, and the same answers, and now I have that floor system in place. Now the last thing I want to do is cut a section through so you can see the relationship of the floor deck to the beam that's supporting it. So I'm going to go, well, let's go to the site plan, and I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to grab the section tool, and I'm going to draw a section cut through here. Click and drag, go all the way through the building. It continues out past the building, and I'll click complete with that and go to modify, and now that section view shows up on the right hand side here as a section. I'll open up the plus, and section 1 is there. If I double click on that, we can actually see now our floor sitting on top of our beam. Although we're not seeing a lot of detail, it's not very clear what's going on here. That's because we need to set our level of detail to fine, and now we'll see the beams and the floor system. And if I zoom way in here, we can see that's the concrete section, and then this is the metal floor deck that's down below that. We can also modify that section at any time we want. So if I went back to the site, and let's say I wanted to pull this back, I'm going to pull this back until it covers this kind of area where there's this side of the deck and that side of the deck. And I still want it to go all the way through the building, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we'll go back to that section. And now we're seeing the section cut. We're seeing that I-beam here, and we can see the relationship of the floor and how that floor edge lines up perfectly with the edge of that I-beam. So next we'll look at putting a roof on our building.